Welcome everybody once again to Don Odell's Legends. This is your trusty devil DJ in Boston, and tonight, oh my goodness, we are honored to have an absolute cigar box guitar master with us this evening. Out of Chicago, Illinois, he now lives in Florida, Mr. Steve Arvey. How are you, sir?
Doing good. A little tired from overseas and just flying right in here to do this, and so, but it's good. It all worked out good.
Very good. You were in Poland, I believe.
The last place I was in Poland. I also went to Italy and Switzerland, but I really like Poland.
Great. And they're big blues people.
Right. I didn't know. I should have been going there years ago because I'm in the encyclopedia, the blues encyclopedia with guys like Lead Belly and Blind Lemon Jefferson and Muddy Waters and Magic Sam. So I thought that I didn't know.
You're a living legend.
Well, I'm not a legend.
There you
but
go.
I grew up in Chicago.
Yes, I would love to talk about that, Steve.
Yeah.
So you did grow up in Chicago. You really started in the early 70s, I believe.
No, not that old.
Not that old. The 70s, late 70s.
I started because I got out of high school, graduated in 77. So around 76, I started going down to Maxwell Street because working for one of my relatives, and that kind of started showing me some of the blues, the great music. And then I went down to Florida to school, and then I ended up going back to Chicago to work for my dad's construction company and started working a lot with a lot of the blues guys.
Yeah.
Because I would pretty much actually there's a great book called Waiting for Buddy Guy. And this book by Alan Harper goes about guys like Dave Spector, Steve Freund, myself, Rich Kirch, all of the different blues guys that, from the suburbs that integrated with a lot of the blues guys and ended up in a lot of bands. Carl Snyder, who played with Sun Seals, and it's a great book.
And you got into playing with some real blues legends, Jimmy Rogers and Hubert Sumlin, and tell us a little bit about that, please.
Well, I met Hubert Sumlin. My dream was to play bass with Buddy Guy. Greg Arzab had the job at that time, and I really wanted to, possibly be the bass player for Buddy. In 1980, I was called by Tail Dragger needed a bass player, and Tail Dragger's still alive, by the way. And Tail Dragger, my grandmother had driven me from the suburbs down to the gig, and she dropped me off on the west side, Mary's Lounge, 423 North Wells, or South Pulaski. And so I'm in there, and Baldhead Pete was on drums, and next thing I know, Tail Dragger comes. First Eddie Taylor shows up on guitar. Eddie
Yes.
plays, Jimmy Reed and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's the first time I met Eddie. But then Tail Dragger came and he had Hubert. So you had me on bass, and Hubert and Baldhead Pete and Eddie Taylor and Tail Dragger, and it was just like, wow. When I heard Hubert on record, but that's why I still don't use I stopped using a guitar pick. I might use a little sometime with Memphis Tonight, but most of the time, 99% of the time I'm always playing finger picking, and it was just the sound that Hubert had. It was just like, wow.
What an influence.
And so when I heard him, I just fell in love. And then there was another guy by the name of T-Bone Pegues. Steve T-Bone Pegues was like a promoter and was booking him, and so I ended up, going on a trip with Hubert. And
Wow. And how old would you have been at that point?
1980, let's see, at 22 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were obviously good to play with these guys.
No, I wasn't that good. I mean, I was, I followed, what Dave Myers and Nick from Nick Holt is Magic Slim's brother, or Nate, not Nate.
Okay.
Nate, and a lot of these guys, showed me how to do the lump. The main thing is, as long as you keep the zoom, 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 and you sit right there, it was a guy like Jack Myers who taught me how to play minor keys and started walking and stuff like that. And,
Awesome.
Bob Stroger's still alive, Bob.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the last of the guys that that do that old So I was a bass player.
Did you ever end up playing bass at all with Buddy Guy?
No, just like at the club.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, like at the checkerboard, if he came in, I remember one time, what's the name of that one? Pete Allen was on guitar. A Phil guy was playing, and yeah, so Buddy would but Buddy Guy wasn't that big of a thing.
Not yet.
Yeah. No, 1978, I mean, he had the Guild Starfire. He played with Junior Wells.
Yes.
I really feel as though after Junior passed away in the 90s, that Buddy really started all of a sudden. It seems like Buddy also started getting the whole that whole show, like because Junior was always a showman and had all the like loud and all the 1, 2. He was like the show guy. And Buddy would sing a little bit, but Buddy all of a sudden really emerged as a more of a front guy. But no, and then Buddy Guy just turned into like
I know.
After Stevie Ray helped him out.
Yep.
Stevie Ray helped a lot of guys like Hubert. So Stevie, I brought in '84. I remember driving Hubert down to Antone's, and Stevie was there, and Stevie would get these Telecaster guitars and sign them and say he gave it to Hubert. Then Hubert we'd sell them on the road. So there was a whole like thing that helped Hubert. Sell guitars at Stevie Gate.
Wow.
So that was really nice,
What a great story.
Stevie and Jimmy, they helped a lot of guys. Antone did. Well, Antone Clifford helped, establish the Cobras, Luann Barton, everybody down there.
Yes. I go to Antone's 4 or 5 times a year. I fly down. I have some artist friends down there. So yeah, I think Gary Clark Jr. is the owner of it now.
Yeah, good.
But wow, that is some stories.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did you get into the cigar box and start to create your sound?
That's what I was just telling you. My flight was delayed, and I was just telling a young kid from Huntsville, Alabama, all about Microwave Dave. Microwave Dave's out of Huntsville, Alabama, and it was, again, 1994. I had a band, West Side Heat. We were a good rocking band, did a lot of Thunderbirds covers, and I had the Strat and was doing a lot of like Jimmy Vaughn, but some Ronnie Earl, doing all that stuff. We had a great harmonic player, Mark Hoekstra, West Side Heat. We got, and Microwave Dave played after us. So after we got off the stage, we're like, yeah, what? And he comes up with a 3-string cigar box, and I'm looking, I'm like, what's the deal with this dude? What the hell is that? How could that be better than my old Strat? And he just got up there with the slide, and it was just like everybody stopped what they were doing. It was raw. It was like Elmore James, like his Tight Skull, but it had a different fat sound, and that was it. It was at Sandy's National. Well, yeah, nobody even remembered what we were about. Everybody was just into this, So that's all of a sudden I'm like, well, what is that? And then I tried to build one, but the intonation was wrong. And then luckily I ran into JP Soares, seeing JP brought it in. So that's kind of what started me with the cigar box guitar. Microwave Dave. Yeah.
So in Huntsville, Alabama.
No, in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee.
But he's from Huntsville. So,
I see.
So, but we did a split show. Sandy's National Pastime used to do like these split blues shows, and it was just like, and it just shows the emotion of what, people like that sound. So that's kind of what got me into it.
Well, you have a great, unique sound. You have a cigar box guitar here today. What is special about this?
Well, I appreciate you letting me bring this on, because here's what's going on here. So this style, actually, I picked this style up because I went to a party and I didn't have a guitar, and the guy had a dulcimer. And he's like, dude, you need to play. I told people you're going to play, and I'm like, I got a day off. And so I picked up this dulcimer tuning, and it was like, so as you notice, there's only 8 frets on this.
Yes.
Where, regular guitar, you have 12, and it's all, and so I started playing along with that day, and I left the party and I thought, that's really a cool tuning. And so I went ahead and built one, but I only made 7 frets. I made the first one wrong, but I didn't know what I was doing because didn't really have YouTube at that time. This wasn't like a real. And then I got the 8-string one, and then I met this guy named Chicken Bone John. He's on YouTube, and Chicken Bone John was the one that hit me to doing this, to putting a capo on. So you've got, this is like a nice, like a sweet, like a melodic song. I use this for gospel. It's actually J.P. Soares on his new album he just recorded. He's using this too. Just a plug for J.P.
Love J.P. Which is a great new album, by the way.
Yeah, have you heard it yet?
I have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So did you
hear
hear
my
that?
phone somewhere?
All right. So did you hear that one song?
Well, I'm going to have to go back and
listen to it. So okay. So now I go ahead and I put this on. Now all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, you hear that?
So this is boys and girls, moms and dads. This is you can go to my YouTube and get lessons because this is. See how much space you got this.
Yes.
We're on a regular fret.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's the sound that I built my brand, my Mississippi Diaries brand. Now you can also go like this. Now, guess what? You can get a Celtic tuning. So
fits well here in Boston.
Whiskey of the devil, you're leading me. So you got the whole. So that's kind of like what most people know me around the world for, is because of that brand of slide. Pretty much in this, just do the. Where like Memphis, he can rip it up all over the place, which is good. But I like just getting that, So you'll see some of.
Some of that tonight.
You'll see some of that tonight on the video. Yeah.
Fantastic. By the way, Steve's YouTube page, thousands of subscribers. So. Just get her Arve Steve. Look at him up.
No, actually, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Steve Arvey.
Perfect.
Right. So
perfect.
That's,
look him up.
So
look him up. It's a great YouTube. So tell me a little bit about Memphis. How did you guys meet? He's a young gun, up and coming guitar slinger with his dad on bass. How did you guys meet, and how did you get together?
Well, I run the Bradenton Cigar Box Fest. Actually, he had come to one of my gigs before, and he could tell you the story about how he came. I was playing with Biscuit Miller and Kelly Rucker. We had this thing called Mojo World Funk, and he'd come to my gig to meet me, and I'd heard about him. And then the first thing I said to him was like, "You want to buy some sardines?" I ran out of merchandise, so I had like sardines, and he was like. Really?
Yeah.
And so he bought a pack. Anyway, but a little bit later down the line, the guy that does the Dave, if you're ever down in Bradenton, Dave Shiplett and I, we do the along with Ed, we do the Bradenton Cigar Box Fest. So Dave's like, "Yeah, I got this kid. I want to book him on the fest," and his name is Memphis Lightning. And I looked online. The first thing I do, and this is important too, again, like how important is like Peter Carp. Everybody knows Peter Carp in Southern Italy. I just toured with him because of the Don Odell shows. Yeah. So it's really important to get good quality footage. So again, I didn't see anything on about Memphis Lightning by Cigar. There was one video of him playing the thing in G, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to book this kid. He needs more stuff. Then he calls me on the phone. "What do you mean?" With that voice, and so then he linked me to a bunch of videos of him playing Cigar Box. I said, "All right, you're on the gig."
Yep.
And then we started jamming together. Then he hired me on another gig over at Inglewoods on Dearborn, and then talked about playing some more blues in minor keys, and which we'll do our minor thing. I think I gave him some influence. He's got a new ballad song. Again, you can rock it out, but you still need a ballad. Like Stevie had. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan had Tin Pan Alley, but then he had Lenny the instrumental, Riviera Wind. It's nice to have something like in a minor key that breaks it down.
Yeah, get well rounded.
So I've just been and both his father and him were friends with Eddie Kirkland.
Okay.
Eddie Kirkland died in Florida. Eddie was an incredible blues guy. I like those old guys like Homesick James, Eddie, Hipling Chain, the meat and potatoes, Mississippi, kind of guys, and so they started telling me stories about Eddie. We just picked me up from the airport. We were talking about Eddie. Eddie Kirkland was a legend.
Yeah.
So,
wow. And you've now been mentoring Memphis with the ballads, and is he listening?
Yeah, no, he's no, he wrote a really good song.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. But
yeah,
he's an incredible guitar player.
Yes, he
and
is.
he's defining his brand, and because he's got a lot of influences, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Steve, I just want to say thank you very much for coming to Don Odell's, giving us the time
today
welcome. on for the interview, and youtube.com/
Steve Arvey.
Get it right, people. It's not A-V. It's A-R-V.
A-R-V-E-Y. And we've got about 5 new videos every week.
Oh.
And so I do a lot in my different travels and, different people I play with. And then I got my Chicago Blues archives on there, too. Oh. So I've got all these tapes that I'm converting over, and all sorts of incredible people, Hubert included, and
wow.
Jimmy Rogers and Floyd Jones. So I'm glad I finally got somebody to convert those cassettes.
Well,
so there.
He doesn't want to be called the living legend, but he has played with some amazing artists, and wait till you hear him tonight, everybody, and on the Don Odell's YouTube site. So thank you once again, and we will see you next time. The Devil DJ says goodbye, everybody. Thank you.